Woo!
Okay.
Time to do one more.
Last
Oh
one.
boy. I have plenty of friends. Ooh. It's time.
Alright.
You may read, baby.
You are learning more about yourself every day. For example, while you already knew that friendship was everything, you are now realizing that staying with your friends is not a priority. At least, that must be right, because
I see why, by the way, I see why they separated it into different volumes, because, like, it's much more linear, the story. Like, you know,
Yeah.
like, John has to come before Rose, has to come before Dave, has to come before Jade. It can't be like this one and then this one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
At least that must be right, because you keep leaving friends and starting over again. Why are you doing this? Probably a deeply held value of some kind. That makes sense. Anyway, you're ready to meet more friends, and the only place you've seen new people recently has been on Jade's dream planet. You zap on over there.
This time we're gonna see Kanaya, I guess.
No, this time something is different. It appears to be a different part of day than before.
It seems.
What did I say?
It appears.
Oh, fucking same thing. And the overhead clouds that previously served as fluffy ambient backdrop are now alive with images. Meteors striking a dark world, a planet covered in sugar mountains dotted with goofy giant teapots, a young gray-skinned alien girl running around catching frogs. These must be the clouds Jade was referencing, the ones she said could never be wrong. Well, you can take guidance from them too. You've trusted more dubious things than clouds. You zone in on that frog girl with the short haircut and the red skirt. Time for the zappy thing. It's always night on Troll Planet, at least when folks are out and about, but it's not usually this dark. You confidently head out to start exploring your surroundings and immediately run into a wall face first. Okay, you're getting your bearings now. You've ended up in some kind of closet. You refrain from making a hackneyed joke about it. They probably don't even have that cultural metaphor here.
I'm amused that he's appeared in closet 2 times because of our gimmick.
Don't even newt. Don't even noodle your newt. And the noise.
Such an old gimmick.
And the noise you made elicited an answering yelp of surprise in the room outside.
You know, it would make me pissed if they turned it into a gimmick. Because. Go ahead, keep going.
It was my idea first, swear to God. You always do this.
That would be such an obscure thing that would happen to be like they did it too.
You hear footsteps approaching you, and then someone yanks the door open.
Oh.
Epic.
Okay. Alright, Hello. What the fuck?
Opening the door has allowed a bright sunlight to fall across your face. You feel instinctively that the light is something to avoid. You hold your hands up to shield your face, and then remember that your hands are also made of skin and whimper. The heat is doing its best to fry you, like a vampire in a movie. You are sure that idle thought will not end up having any relevance to this troll girl story whatsoever.
What are you? Did you just wander in here, or like... What?
Something like that, you tell her, cringing away from the light. You get the feeling this girl is not going to fall for the old mailman Gambit. Mail troll? You tell her you know one of her other friends.
Who? Wait. Is it Karkat?
Yes.
I knew it. He makes friends with all kinds. Well, I obviously can't kick you out right now. You don't seem to be able to handle the sun. So I guess you better stick around until at least nighttime.
You could easily zap nighttime. This is giving you an in. So instead you agree. No problem. You can just hang out in this closet. It's fine. It's a lovely closet.
I know, we just met, but... You are being kind of weird.
You hope it's the kind of weird that eventually becomes charming. You don't say that though, just think it. You know the barrier between your words and thoughts is ambiguous at best, but for real.
Anyway, you have no obligation to skulk around in my wardrobe-ifying assets chamber.
That's such a bad word for closet.
I have a solution.
Pulling the shades, maybe?
No. Why would I deprive my plants of life? Life-giving sunlight for a fragile-skinned creature I've never met before. It is another solution.
A minute later, you are dressed in a floor-length gown of emerald velvet with long sleeves, a high neckline, and a dramatic hood to pull over your head. The dress does nothing for the heat, but it effectively shields you from sunlight.
There you go.
Yes. I I see. You just can't get in the sun directly. All swaddled up like a baby, you joke. The troll just gives you a level look. Clearly you've stumbled on a cultural misalignment. Even though she's the one who hasn't even heard of a baby, she stares at you until you start to feel embarrassed for knowing things that she doesn't know. She is very good at staring contests. What an amazing potential friend. Now out of the closet. You know now that that joke won't land either. You look around at the room. It is indeed covered with plants, as well as colorful bolts of fabric and half-finished sewing projects. Unlike Rose's knitting disarray, it does not give the impression of someone who has difficulty finishing things. This troll's room gives the impression of someone who enjoys, even excels at having multiple irons in hot places. Or at least she thinks she does. She seems to have just been on her computer thing when you zapped in, because her chat client is flashing insistently. You try to peer at the open window, when she hits a button and makes the projection disappear, a delicate green flush rising to her cheeks.
No need to look at that.
Guiltily, you remember spying on Rose. When she called you out, you thought for a second that your chances of being her friend had run out. Like if there was a universe where you became her friend and one where you didn't, you'd stumbled clumsily into the wrong one. The bad one, if you will. But luckily everything turned out fine. Maybe you could get away with it again? Plus, this troll doesn't even know about your powers yet, not like Rose did. She would have no reason to suspect you.
Alright, let's spy on the troll's communications.
Alright. You excuse yourself to the, you don't know what they call it here, the necessaries. You wave your hand in a vaguely embarrassed way and the troll gets it. Out of her sight, you zap back to a few minutes ago, just outside the door to the room you're in now. You wait until you hear the thump of yourself arriving in the closet, and the troll abandoning her desk. Then you quickly zap into the room and read her current chat.
It just cannot escape my notice that the last 3 times you've contacted me, it was to ask if I finished your dress yet. Under these circumstances, I find it trying to believe that you want it for no particular reason.
Oh boy, it's Vriska.
I figured it was Vriska, because she blushed. She used to have a little thing on for her. I wish you would just tell me why it's so important.
Oh,
okay.
Hideous southern accent, Vriska.
Of course you do! Fussy Fangs always has to have a reason for everything. Maybe I just want a present for my Moirail. Did you think of that? Or are you too busy fussing around in your bus block? Maybe I'm being nice. Or did you not think I could be nice sometimes? I know you can be. When you want, sort of. Are we Moirails again now then? Yesterday you said defining our relationship was something only lame dorks would do. Yeah, and my Moirail is a super lame dork. That's you, Fangface. It's just that I can't help but notice that I'm your Moirail again right now. When you want something from me. You notice a lot, don't you? Always noticing something. I bet you would be shocked to know how much you don't see. You don't even know half of what I have going on. If I have ever pretended to know what is going on with you, please allow me to apologize for such a gross misrepresentation of my reality. Whatever. Whatever. Can you just tell me if you finished it yet? Hello, Kanaya?
The log ends there. You zap back before past you is done changing into the dress and re-enter the room. The troll, Kanaya, is back at her lunchbox computer typing furiously. You have to handle the situation delicately. She can't know you were spying on her, but you've already said that you know Karkat. You hedge your bets on all of them sharing the same friend group. You ask her carefully if she happens to know your other friend as well. Arachnid's grip? Little green flesh darkens Kanaya's cheeks again. She bites her lip, showing one kinda adorable fang.
Okay. Yes, I know her. Why?
You are sure that helping Kanaya figure out her situation with this girl is the key to earning her friendship. A big, juicy, interpersonal conflict to solve has been dangled in front of you, and nothing makes friends more reliably. But then again...
She was wondering when her dress was gonna be done.
But then again, you don't really know anything about this other troll. You don't even know her name, just her handle. Can you really be of use to Kanaya? Especially when your knowledge of the girl is based on a foundation of lies? Is this the right way to go? Well,
let's back off, because we've already gone deep enough. I feel like backing off is the wrong move.
yeah. No reason, you say. Just curious. Kanaya gives you a suspicious look.
Okay. Well, I'm kind of in the middle of something. You can just while away the time until it gets dark.
Sure. You watch her for a few minutes as she finishes up her conversation and then starts working on the things around her room. But having seen what you've seen, you are determined to find some way to help her. If you can't fix her interpersonal problems, maybe you can figure out something else she'd enjoy. Filled with an investigative spirit, you start to gather evidence. Snoop. You start to snoop. Spying got you this far. Spying's great.
Spying got you nowhere.
You rifle through Kanaya's bookshelf. She has a number of sewing pattern books, which you assume must have some kind of whimsically gruesome twist congruent with the rest of the world building on this planet, but pretty much just look like sewing pattern books. There is one thing on the shelf in your own language. It's not a book, but a stack of printed out pages bound together.
In your own language?
Bound together in a distinctly homemade way. It says Spurb Beta Walkthrough at the top and is covered with familiar erudite prose.
Suburb.
You're pretty sure the events described in this document never happened in the timeline you're currently making, but whatever source Kanaya got this from is not bound strictly to one timeline.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember? There are a number of books featuring shining white figures, mostly women, with prominent fangs and variously colored blood dripping from their cruel and elegant mouths. They are all dressed in an explosion of brightly colored fabrics. Something about their sparkles strikes you as deeply strangely familiar. You must just be thinking of vampires. There's no reason you would know anything about whatever the rainbow blood imbibing troll equivalent is. Most of these covers feature a swooning troll of varying genders, clearly about to have their throat torn out sexily. Many of the rainbow vampires are being menaced by brave heroes, all wielding chainsaws. A loud buzz makes you look up. You can't help but notice that Kanaya is tending to her topiaries with a large chainsaw of her own. Ah. Okay. Sorry. Okay. You're putting this all together. The bright colors around her house, the choice of weapon, the love of sunlight. Kanaya's heart's desire is clearly to date a sexy vampire. Maybe that's what AG is.
Okay.
You wonder if you could make this happen for her. Maybe on this planet, it's not just a fantasy. You clear your throat to get Kanaya's attention, and then casually wonder aloud if Alternia has any kind of non-living creatures.
Oh. You mean the undead?
Yes, the undead. Where might one find the undead?
It is not difficult. They tromp past my hive in their hordes every day. Slavering and so on. Trying to get in sometimes.
It's all coming together. That must be the root of Kanaya's fascination. You start to form a plan. The next 2 hours, you keep a keen eye trained on the window. Sure enough, within an hour, a group of strange shambling creatures lurches into view. You yell and point out the window, drawing Kanaya's attention, and then zap yourself out there in front of the horde. Now that you're close up, you can see that these guys are not exactly the debonair creatures of the night from Kanaya's book covers. They're more like zombies. Big, slow, stumbling things, half of them falling apart. Still, needs must. You are going to net one of them for Kanaya.
Okay.
You stand your ground as they lurch toward you.
This is such a bad idea.
Trying to select the most alluring. Suddenly, Kanaya is at your side, out of breath from running. She's wielding her chainsaw.
Are you actually bereft of sense? You don't fight the undead. This is suicidal.
You weren't trying to fight them, but there's no time to explain that, because they attack you anyway. A great monstrous arm backhands you to the ground, and monster claws tear through your gown and into your shoulder, lifting you by it. The creature opens a mouth full of more teeth than you thought could fit inside there.
Oh shit. They just turn into monsters?
That's super dongly. Then you're falling. You hit the ground and roll, dirt grinding into the wounds on your arm. Epic. The top half of the creature lands next to you, twitching slightly. Kaya's chainsaw gleams with its black blood.
Okay, so their blood goes black when they're dead.
That's super nutty. He twirls and bisects another undead thing, but then a third bear hugs her from behind and lifts her, its maw opening wide. You scramble to your feet and throw yourself at Kanaya, grabbing her kicking leg and squeezing your eyes shut to concentrate. You zap. Please don't let the monster come with you. You open your eyes. The monster did not come with you. Only its arms did. Kanaya shakes herself a little, free from their disembodied embrace. Blood pools on her carpet. She does something to get rid of her chainsaw, and suddenly she's holding a tube of lipstick, which she opens. She slicks a fresh coat of black onto her lips. You slowly catch your breath. You're about to offer an apology, but something makes you pause. Kanaya is staring at the pools of blood. She cautiously, guiltily leans down and swipes the finger in the mess. Then she brings it to her mouth and delicately licks.
Blah!
She makes a face and spits the blood out. Then she looks up at you, flushing emerald with embarrassment. Oh, you think you made a mistake. Kanaya doesn't want to date a vampire. She wants to be a vampire.
Pretend you did not see that.
You smile cautiously. It's okay, you tell her. You're embarrassed yourself by your foolish actions.
Yes. Why did you do that? Also, how did you teleport? We will be coming back to that one. Do not mistake me. But I can't understand why anyone would run straight into a horde of undead.
You look down. Well, it's just that when she said undead, you were picturing something else. Another kind of creature that was dead and now isn't and is a little more appealing. Understanding dawns.
Oh, I see. Well, that's understandable.
Vampires are just so cool. They're so cool and hot, and it would make sense for anyone to want to be one.
I don't know what a vampire is. But I believe that we are on the same page. Maybe I misjudged you. Perhaps we have greater intelligence and finer taste than I originally inferred.
Maybe, you say. And you bet anyone with taste would find Kanaya's daring, unconventional aesthetic intriguing. Even someone like the tentacle therapist. Kanaya freezes.
Well, how do you... Did you just... I mean, who is that? I mean,
She clears her throat uncomfortably.
whoever that is. I hope you are right. And also, well...
He looks embarrassed again.
Thank you for saying so.
You nod, wondering if you should say more. You should keep that friend's secrets, just like you were going to keep Kanaya's vampire fantasy secret. Because that's what friends do.
Yay! We did it.
That was super nutty.
That is not a high neck, high neck fucking dress there. It's a V-neck. Very, very low cut. Yay!
That was a super nutty route.
Wow! Alright, let's go do the fucking wrong ones now.
Alright.
Let's do the second wrong one there, yeah.
Let's offer to help.
Yep.
You gesture wildly. You and this girl, whose name you do totally know, go way back. In fact, if Kanaya wants...
Okay, it all ends with the lies.
Yeah, in fact, if Kanaya wants some help figuring things out with her, you could definitely help. You're an observant person. This part is true, and you want to help her. This too! Kanaya thinks this over, looking skeptical.
What could you do to help? She's just impossible. Everyone knows that already. I am not breaking new ground about Vriska here.
Vriska? That must be your name. Despite Kanaya's outward frustration, you keep sensing some kind of guilty affection here. You don't know what a moirail is. How could you?
Could you hand me notes, by the way, just for later? Thank you.
You've never heard that word before, but it conjures a feeling inside you, a vague sense of warmth and comfort, and for some reason, a dark room and the smell of popcorn. Anyway, it's clearly some kind of intimate relationship, and Kanaya's feelings are all wrapped up in it. You know what to do in that kind of situation. She needs to tell Vriska how she feels. You'd expect Kanaya to brush this off. She hasn't exactly been Miss-Emotional openness so far, and she looks like she's about to, but then she wavers. To your surprise, she lets out a heavy sigh, her shoulders slumping.
What would be the point? She's not even into the relationship we have now. There's no way she'd want to take it in a more crimson direction.
Oof. Clearly these feelings have worn her down so much, her spiky defenses have weakened.
I thought that she had black feelings towards her.
Yeah.
Huh. Anyway.
You don't want to cheer on someone's vulnerabilities, but, well, it's hard to forge a friendship without them. You ask if she's sure about that.
Well, no. I can't ever tell if she's sincere. She makes serious things into jokes and jokes into big dramas. I thought she started calling me her Moirail as a joke. But she told everyone else about it, too. She didn't even ask me what I wanted. And now I don't know how to talk to her about it. Every conversation we have gets so antagonistic that I'm not interested in that quadrant with her. Sometimes it feels like our relationship is just an aggregation of shallow and insincere hostilities.
Despite the unfamiliar alien words, this teen romantic flailing is common among all species. You nod sympathetically. But, you point out, Kanaya isn't happy now. Would she have to lose if she pressed the issue? Kanaya gives you that even scathing gaze again.
What is your personal interest in my quadrants? Karkat's friend.
Oops, you pushed it too far. All your recent successes have made you cocky. You revert to barefaced honesty and tell her you want to get to know her better.
I have plenty of friends already. And I don't even like some of them. But I will think about your unsolicited and unwelcome advice. Advice from a stranger whose presence you are tolerating solely. These people are so easily put off just because they have to have bad endings. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Solely to not be responsible for the death of an innocent is well known to be the best kind of advice. Although Kanaya does seem very judgy, so.
Yeah. That's about the best you can ask for. You shut up and sit quietly while Kanaya goes back to her activities, sewing and tending to her plants with a big chainsaw she seems to have pulled out of nowhere. Finally, she huffs a sigh and throws the chainsaw down on the floor. It disappears again, but a little gold tube rolls away from where it landed. Kanaya stalks back to her magic computer lunchbox. She is emanating such a determined air that you don't dare to address her. Maybe she's forgotten about you. If so, it's to your advantage, because Kanaya's setup projects her windows in a very visible way, and she didn't tell you not to look this time.
You know how you basically refuse to be straightforward with me? You know how you... And I use this metaphor with full consciousness of its on-the-nose nature, always weave a web of intricate emotional misdirection, and basically act in the most infuriating way possible. What? Slow down, what are you talking about? Why did you start calling me your Moirail? Was it because you actually had those feelings for me? Or did it suit you your purposes somehow? What if I started calling you my mate spirit? How would it, would that make it a reality? Is that how it works? You just say something and assume they will happen? Like you said, instead of talking about it with the other person involved? That time I meant you in an abstract and general sense, not specifically you. Wait, are you saying you want to be mate sprits? You know I'm one of the few people of us who still likes you. You know everyone wonders why I still talk to you at all. And sometimes I do too. After everything you've done, I think in this situation the evidence for strong concupiscent feelings on my part is compelling. I do not think our so-called Moira allegiance is satisfying enough to account for my continued attachment to you. Any outside observer could perceive as much. Wow! I think there was a confession somewhere buried under all that insulting language. You know what, meanie fangs? Let's do it. Let's be mate sprits. Do not mock me. I'm not! Jeez. Do you see how unfair you're being? Vriska, be more straightforward. Vriska, talk clearly about your feelings. Define our relationship. Then when I do it, this is what I get. Let's flip red. Why not? Wait. Really? Yes!
Kanaya slams the lunchbox shut and turns to you. She's even more flustered than she was before, and now you can't tell if she's freaked out or thrilled. Maybe even she doesn't know.
Listen, I have to go somewhere. You can let yourself out, right? Do not steal anything from me.
You open your mouth, about to suggest that you could teleport her where she needs to go, but she rushes past you and down the stairs. And she's gone. Dang. You've been getting really good mileage lately out of being the person to unite distant friends. Lousy goddamn stupid independent action. You get the feeling following her wouldn't go over well either. I probably need some privacy right now. A lesser friendship aspirant might give up at this point. but your unique skills have honed in on one thing. This relationship is happening because of your advice. Surely once things settle down, Kanaya will remember this and turn to you, ready to embrace you and rain down thanks and praise for your good works. You're not about to wait around for it here. You zap ahead a couple days. No Kanaya. Nothing in the room indicates that Kanaya has even been back here yet. Try a couple days more. Still no Kanaya.
Let's get killed her.
Epic. You zap again. Now you're a week out, and the brown edges on some of the sleeves suggest that Kanaya has been at her new girlfriend's house this entire time. You're about to give up when you hear a door slam downstairs. Kanaya storms up the winding staircase, stopping dead when she sees you.
Oh great, just what I need. Someone I don't know here in a delicate emotional time to witness my compromised state. Whenever I am on the precipice of romantic disaster, I always think to myself, I wish a deformed stranger was in my house refusing to leave. Just to bear witness to my inelegant suffering.
Okay, wow, that was harsh. You're beginning to think your strategy is not going to pan out. Never one to be deterred easily, you cautiously asked her if she wants to talk about it. She puts her face in her hands.
You know what? You are probably the only person who thought this was remotely a good idea. And therefore probably the only one I can complain to. Everyone else saw this coming, I'm sure. As outcomes go, this one was not particularly stealthy.
She looks up. He doesn't look angry anymore, just upset. Oh no.
I do not know why I thought that in becoming my matesprit she would somehow start acting differently than the way she always has.
Relationships are hard. Relationships are hard and nobody understands.
Well, no. I mean, they are a very common form of social interaction. I think most people, especially past the age when their genetic contribution is legally required, understand. Or face certain culling.
Okay, never mind that. You were trying to do a thing and it clearly didn't work. The things didn't work out with Vriska.
You could say that. At first, it was everything I wanted. She's right, you know. She can be nice sometimes. But then she just started ordering me around. Like I had to do what she said just because I was her matesprit. Like, maybe the reason she agreed in the first place was because she wanted that leverage.
No, she's upset. She isn't getting visibly emotional. Instead, as she talks, her eyes narrow and her voice grows icy with anger. She grows very still, her muscles held taut.
And she kept trying to use me to get back in with our friends, who sensibly dropped her already. Like Karkat and Terezi. Although I can't believe I still have any cash.
Yeah.
With them after so obviously taking leave of my senses enough to date her. Even Terezi wasn't stupid enough for that. It felt like she just wanted me to like her so she could exploit me. Maybe because she doesn't have enough other friends. So she had to get the most out of me.
Her voice is trembling with anger now. Jeez, that's rough. Honestly, it sounds to you like Kanaya dodged a bullet. When you first saw that Kanaya had a crush on this girl, you kind of assumed that someone as composed and rational as Kanaya would be drawn to someone who would compliment her well. You've just watched her walk into a train wreck.
You're insulting her.
Well, encouraged her to. It's probably good she broke up with Vriska.
I didn't.
Oh, well.
But you're right.
He stalks over to the bus top and throws the top open so violently it nearly breaks. She opens a window and starts typing so hard her claws hit the keys so hard that one of them pops off and flies to the ground.
You know, Vriska, I didn't just want to date you. I wanted you to feel the same things I felt and treat me like a matesprit. And whatever this is, it isn't what I wanted. Excuse me? What are you saying?
Kanaya slams the screen down and turns away, and she puts her hands over her face again and bursts into tears. You can't help but feel a little awkward. There? Kanaya glares at you.
You know this is your fault, right? I do not think you have shown yourself to be competent enough in this area to try to fix things now. Can you please just leave me alone?
Yeah, you're not going to be able to turn this around. Leaving probably is the best thing you can do for Kanaya now. You nod sadly and zap the fuck out of there. Well.
Alright, one more.
What? Tell me. Alright. Let me go back. Alright. Well, do not.
Do not, yeah.
No. Even if you don't get caught, it's just not a good way to begin a friendship. Much fairer to start on even footing. Besides, you already have an in. Yes, the troll house she knows Karkat looks bored by this conversation starter.
Sorry, but I was actually kind of busy when you came in. I am not going to consign you to fiery death outside in the light, but I would appreciate some personal time.
Sure, you say. Of course. The troll gives you a suspicious look until you turn away enough that she can be assured of privacy, and she goes right back to chatting with her friends. After a while, she gets up and starts working on a dress she's sewing. She keeps getting frustrated, ripping it out and redoing it to get it perfect. She's not being rude to you, but she's ignoring you. You attempt to engage a few more times and keeps answering politely, but she just refuses to be pulled into shenanigans from which a lasting friendship could form. After several hours, the sun slips below the horizon and leaves the world in twilight. The troll girl yawns.
Well, it should be safe for you to leave now. Goodbye.
She nicely but firmly directs you out the door. Well,
Yay!
that was that. I did it.
You assured Kanaya that liking Dracula's is really cool. Yeah. Oh, what a mess.
That one was really short comparatively.
Yeah.
It was only 30 minutes.
Damn.
So I guess, like, combined with Karkat, the entire volume was pretty long.
Yeah.
It's about as long as Jade's overall.
Wow. It's almost like you can stitch them together, but I don't think you should.
No. Anyway.
Alright. That was nice.
Thank you for tuning in to Sleepy Time Poetry Hour.
What an honest to God mess. Like, a fucking thing with vriska.
Yeah.
Vriska's a bitch.
Yeah. That's the biggest point of contention. Is Vriska a bad person? That's just an extraordinarily loaded question.
Yeah. Oh. Beautiful. Alright. I had fun with that.
Type your thoughts in the comments below.
Yeah! Let us know. Is Vriska a bad person?
Yeah, is Vriska bad? Anyway, goodbye.
Bye.